Hello everybody, Daz here. It was a while since I gave you any update on my personal Sentinel build, and the reason for that is I worked every evening on a fully custom cabling. I usually try to avoid this type of job at all costs, but in this particular situation it was no choice, because usually when I use a, let's say, tower case with a classical placement of motherboard and other things, you can use extensions in the front of the case and hide a lot of mess behind motherboard tray, and nobody really knows what's going on. So if you want, you can do things nice behind the motherboard as well, but if you don't care or you don't want to waste time on it, you can actually just leave things a little bit messy there. But with S8 from Case Labs, everything is open. Case is fully open, so there are no other choices except make cabling look nice or entire build will look like a mess. I'm almost finished with that part of the job, but decided to give you update because a lot of things almost completed at this point. The task number one that I had to deal with was to improve situation with the sponsored Corsair AX1200i. This case this power supply coming with a half-press sleeved set of cables, things like motherboard tray or GPU cables, the kind of sleeve they even in the color I wanted, which I decided to stick just with black. But the problem with those cables, that sleeving job is not the perfect for current standards. So you can see the cabling sleeving ending not at the end of the cables. You have a pretty ugly heat shrink which tied up with zip tie on top of everything. So obviously you won't have a nice heat shrink going right inside of the connector and things like that. So I decided to go full custom and make complete set of cables. Having said that, I still wasn't up to the job to completely redo entire wire sets, because that probably will took me a couple months, and I definitely wasn't that interested to invest in that build for so much effort. So what I did, as you know, my store sells a lot of custom cabling, a lot of varieties, a lot of colors, and so I had opportunity to reach my supplier, just order female press sleeved cables in black. So I ordered three sizes, like 30 centimeters, 50 and 70, because I wasn't sure what length I need and I was too lazy to measure in advance. So I got a bunch of those cables. And so what basically I did, instead of redoing or making fully custom cables, I cut heat shrink and sleeving from existing Corsair wires, and I basically removed one cable at a time, replacing it with my perfectly sleeved cable without heat shrink. So you see it's perfectly professionally done by machine, so it's probably even better than I could do it. And I just replace one wire at a time. This allows me to avoid almost all mistakes. I messed up a couple times a little bit with other cables, but for main cables such as 24 pin or 8 pin for or 6 pin for GPUs, it was pretty much easy job and took me just a couple evenings. I know that other stores and other people do this kind of mod, but I wasn't sure 100% that how easy such things can be done, and it turns to be absolutely not difficult. So if you change one wire at a time, it will be absolutely no problem. There's one little trouble that I encountered with 24 pin with Corsair cable specifically. It's actually had one wire that was going like splitting in, like one wire was two wires coming the same spot, but I figured out that it was actually ground, and I basically just ran one of the strands and second strands, which also supposed to go to power supply, I basically just cut it off, and so I use one wire instead of two, instead of recrimping and make things like this. And as you can see, this machine works no problem, so it didn't affect absolutely nothing. Speaking about GPU cables, that was absolutely no surprises. Most of cables was just straight or crossed in some way, but was no additional components, nothing like this. So I don't need to cut anything, and I basically just replaced one wire at a time. I made 4 cables, and it was really easy. After that, I did a little bit of work that actually didn't pay off at the end. You can see that I use some cable comb, so I arrange cables very nicely from all this motherboard power business. But later I discovered that when I actually fill my computer with all those hard drive cages that I need, because I use this machine as my main production machine, also as a NAS, so it's a lot of storage used in straight in this computer, so a lot of things get covered in the end. So I could not use any combs or anything. It wouldn't really make much difference, maybe a little bit in the area of a motherboard, but realistically it was a little bit waste of effort. So I spent almost like 2 evenings, makes everything looks nice and perfectly fine, and after that, then a few weeks later, I fill everything with all the hard drive cages. They just hide the entire work. So it was a little bit disappointment, but other than that, it wasn't that bad. Second task was actually to make a bunch of cables for peripherals, such as the pumps, all my hard drive and SSDs, and what else? Like DVD and everything. I still use DVD, as you can see, because I have a bunch of Blu-rays, so I can watch them straight from my computer. And of course, there was tons of cables coming from the fans. I have 6 fans on both triple radiators, and I have another 3 fans with LED mode I did on the front, and 1 extra fan here. So the total was 10 fans, and this wires coming from each fan, and also I have 9 LED rings which add another 9 wires, so I have 19 wires only coming from a fan and my lighting exercise, so to speak, in this computer. So it was a little bit messy experience, but first of all I needed to provide power for pumps and hard drives and things like this. So you know that Corsair give you those ribbon not sleeves cables that if you don't see them, they're okay, but they definitely looks pretty much outdated. I think Corsair producing them more than 10 years by now, because I remember having those cables way back and they didn't change a bit except the actual connector on the PSU itself. There used to be very little proprietary connector. Now they just use the standard type of connectors, which is a little bit bigger, but other than that, the style of the cable is absolutely the same. So that part I actually had to work a little bit more in creative way. So I took Corsair cable as a template to see where each cable is going, and then I use a press-lift cables like this SATA power cable, which I basically cut off cable at the length I needed. I put a female ATX crimp on it, and I put it into new connector, just looking exactly the same way as it was done on Corsair cable. I messed up a couple times, but I didn't blow anything. I didn't blew my power supply or anything. The things a couple times I mixed up, and the entire system was shutting down, so the protection helped me out, so I didn't ruin anything. But definitely this is a task a little bit more difficult. So if using press-lift cables and just replacing one-to-one, I'm pretty sure that 99% of you can do it absolutely with no issues. This one is a bit more difficult. As much as you try to pay attention which wire goes there, sometimes things get flipped around and you go totally wrong place. But again, it's still possible and not that difficult, but that actually was a little bit more close to actual custom cabling job, because I had to recrimp things and do a little bit new heat shrink and things like that. But other than that, it was pretty easy. So I did a bunch of connectors out of SATA power, and also need some Molex connectors to power up things like fan controllers and pumps. So you can see the system actually fully working. I already used it, and I just disconnected my monitor and keyboard right now, so see the system actually running right now. So my pumps and fan controllers required some amount of traditional SATA cables. I thought to put to other type of connector, but after that decided doesn't matter because you can't really see it. And then that's basically how it was my time spent for last 3 weeks. You can see that overall things looks pretty nice. I still need to tackle and hide a couple cables, such as here a little bit from fans and my flow meter. So you can see I have 2.7 liters now. Actually, when I started using machine, it was almost 4 liters, and right now it's kind of slowed down a little bit. So I might still have an air pocket somewhere, or maybe some junk gets stuck in the CPU, which also possible. But 3 liters is pretty much decent amount, so I don't think I will be bothering disassemble computer, open CPU block and things like this, unless I go way much down in the future. But for now, it definitely make absolutely no reason to clean it one more time or anything like that. So you can see that again from the usage of computer for about 10 days, a little bit a level of water went down. It's just pure distilled water, so it's no additives, nothing. So I need to add something. I was thinking a few times maybe I should do some sort of colored liquid, and was kind of going back and forth. I was thinking about green at some point and blue in some point. So, but finally I'm leaning towards to use 100% just clear liquid, nothing. So all I do, you see I have a little bit space left, so all I do, I just add additives, and most likely I just go with my own DazMode protector and call it a day. So it's acrylic tube, so nothing will happen with glycol type of additives. DazMode protector works for me in the past, was such a well manner, I never had any issues myself, and so why invent new wheel again? I don't want any opaque liquids. If some of you would like suggest to use pastel, that's definitely not something I foresee in this particular build, so pastel is out of question. And other than that, any clear liquid is clear liquid, and I decided to go like clear. So that's what's happening. Another interesting development, so aside of the cables, which I still need to fix a few things on the bottom part, you might see, so some cable is still visible because I didn't finish. I still need to crimp and put a tachometer wire into my controllers. But overall, I just would like to give you some idea where and how things are in this particular build. So you already saw my layout for tubing, so nothing changed. So the tube stays the same. I still have a 2 radiator with LED rings, and there the type of fans I use is a Gentle Typhoon 1150 RPMs. All 10 fans right now working at full speed. There are no slow down whatsoever. If you can hear that computer, absolutely, it's not like silent, and also it has open panels right now, which will actually make it more silent later, but you can hear the noise a little bit, but it's absolutely quiet, even comparing with my own Venom build, which is basically in a dying state right now. And another reason I'm really pushing and forcing this build to finish right in this second, I basically had a lot of hardware failures on my Venom at this point, so I have a power supply dead, so I had to put a spare one. I didn't even bother to bolt it, so it's just a hanging inside of the case and all wires connected. I also broke connectors on my SSDs, so it's like duct taped attached. So, and there's a few other little things here and there, so I definitely need to start moving. So this machine is fully operational at this point. I just need to finish migration of my data. Speaking of which, finally my RAID cards, I have adapter card here. The reason I wanted separate RAID card is the reason that every time you migrate the things, that migrating RAID is always a trouble. But if you have your drives attached to the RAID card, then all you need to do is to move your RAID card to a new computer. And my migration of my main hardware hard drives array was absolutely painless. All I need to do is I disconnect all drives, mark them all numbers. I put my RAID in new computer, connected cables, and you know, things just work beautifully. I have all my files, all my video production, all this stuff right in my new computer. I need to move nothing. All I need to do to install my Windows 10. I decided to give it a try. I have a 7 on all my computers, but I have a license and everything, and at the end of the day I want to try something new as well. So I put Windows 7 on the 750i. You can't see it anymore because it's right the same size as a RAID controller card, so it's straight behind it, so nothing coming out. And I can't say it's like blistering fast. The whole computer kind of works a little bit faster than 7, but I heard that 10 actually works a little bit faster than 7. So I can't tell you this like day and night difference, but so far it's okay. And I'm still learning my ropes about Windows 10 interface, because I skipped on 8 entirely. I never had Windows 8 in any of my machines, so it's a little bit different, but overall it's okay, it works, and all application works as well. So anyways, so the RAID controller was nice, easy way to migrate things. And other stuff that I did, show you here. So I put 2 fan controllers, but the reason for those fan controllers, because I have so much of LEDs going on, I wanted to have some sort of control of my LEDs. So if I wanted to have a more or less, I don't remember which one control which, so this for pumps. So like front LEDs, so I don't know how much brightness I want, and so you see it's all at full tilt right now, but if I want it a little bit dimmer, I will figure that later. It also might help me to make a nicer pictures. So also I can control those 2 rings as well. So oh no, that's the wrong one. So like red and blue, because when it will be dark and I sit in my basement, play my games, I don't have this illuminating going too much, so I will calibrate it to my likings in pretty dim environment. But right now I give you some overview how things looks for like at maximum, everything at maximum basically. The additional fans that I have right now, I didn't put any LEDs because I think it will kind of destroy symmetry, so it's just a black. Other than that, configurations that you haven't seen, so I have all the hot swap drives. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a RAID 10, and those still empty, but I will use it for things like dumping my video production files or making swap and things like this. So this is just working type of tray, so only 4 is a permanent, which I'm not touching. I also have 2 hot swap trays for SSDs as well, so I have a full flexibility of continue to use big hard drives, traditional, which is still not dead because the capacity is insane, right? So good luck to find money for 4 terabyte SSD, while 4 terabyte hard drives is not that difficult. And as I already mentioned, that still having my optical drive, which is most people ditched, but I opted for a slim one, so it's not too intrusive. At the same time I can watch my movies, or I have some other stuff like old backups on DVD. And of course you can connect external hard optical drive, but you know, it's there and I have enough space to have it. One thing that I can tell that after finishing my build, I think that I could actually push it without the bottom part. So you know, like I can skip on this particular fan, and then the 3 drives goes there. I could put pumps somewhere in this section. So basically I think the build looks more balanced in this way, how it shows right now. But as I said, that the pedestal that I used, it was a little bit of luxury, I would say, but I could work it around if I wanted. And behind, nothing really special here. Still need to put 1 cover there. Maybe I'll put another 750. I didn't decide yet, but realistically I have tons of space on the storage side, so I'm not sure if I need one. But other than that, the only few things that left before I can make your final video, probably some sort of music and things like that. I still going to go for a keyboard that Corsair promised to give me, and we have some cool mod here, and I will show you later. Also, I need to put a little fan, last fan number 11 in this build over this heatsink on the RAID controller. It's just absolutely burning hot, so I'm actually have those two fans going this way. So it might be enough when the cover will be in place, but I maybe just put a little fan right into heatsink, slow it down significantly, and we'll use it that way, because when you copy files and things like this, the bloody thing became absolutely blistering hot. It stopped beeping, and the sound from this little RAID card, it's worse than an alarm in your house. So it's like your ears just it hurt. So this really is something that I definitely want to avoid. I had a big fan blowing on it in my Venom, but it was a different position. But here, because it's vertical, so I need a little fan, and probably just attaches straight to the heatsink. Other than that, that's pretty much completion of this particular build. I still need a couple touches left, but overall I'm already using it. There is even possibilities that I will edit this video that I'm making right now straight on my on this computer. So you might see the video done on this computer, because I have all software already loaded and everything is working. So far I'm really happy. It turns out absolutely cool looking. I have to use a lot of lights, so right now it doesn't look like much, but when lights is off, this is absolutely exciting. I truly love it. You dim those rings a little bit, you have your memory glowing, all the stuff is going on, a lot of lights coming different places, and it's looking really mysterious type of way. So okay guys, that's what I want to show you what's happening here. I am truly excited with this particular new addition to my personal family. Oh god, I will be using this computer hard, that's for sure, and hopefully I'll have a little bit spare time soon and we'll try to game on it as well. So now it's only work, but you know, it will coming soon, I'm pretty sure as well. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll come back with my regular schedule, and as a couple of reviews is due soon, and just need to finish this thing up so I can render and produce my videos easily on my new 4K monitor too, which is pretty cool item as well. See you soon.